Hello and welcome to the Sins Review. I'm your host, Jackie Sins. So, with my colossal disappointment with Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, I would like to close out the year on a high note. So, with it being close to Christmas, I thought I would review a Christmas movie, more specifically, a Christmas horror movie. I've decided that that movie shall be the original Black Christmas. Black Christmas, released in 1974 and directed by Bob Clark, stars Olivia Hussey as Jess Bradford, the late Margot Kidder as Barbara Card, Andrea Martin as Phyllis Carlson, the late Marion Waldman as Barbara Machenry, and the late John Saxon as Lieutenant Kenneth Fuller. Again, kind of major characters. So, and there's obviously going to be a lot of other characters, because, this is a slasher. I mean, we recognize it as a slasher nowadays. I'm not sure if the term slasher existed in the early 70s, though. Anyway, the story takes place around a university campus, the main location being the sorority house where the ladies of said sorority are harassed on the phone and killed off one by one. The caller and killer is known as Billy, and he makes these very obscene phone calls saying stuff like, let me lick your pretty pink cunt, or suck my huge cock, or whatever. I mean, it also seems like there might be some other folks on the line as well, because we hear a lot of different voices, so, it seems like maybe it's not just one person, but, it's just kind of an addition to the mystery of the whole thing. So this film was clearly meant to make your skin crawl. In fact, the saying on the advertisement posters was saying like, if this picture doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight. I would say with the combination of the obscene calls, the weird voices, and the atmosphere, this movie still gives me chills to this very day. It is damn scary and unnerving. There is also a bit of commentary that isn't just, it's very subtle, and it's not just, brought up in a condescending manner. Jess reveals to her boyfriend that she is pregnant and doesn't want to have the child because she wants to be able to finish college and have a career first and foremost. She says she wants an abortion, and obviously her boyfriend doesn't take too kindly to that. He considers it, murder, like she's killing their child. Now this film came out, pretty shortly after the Roe versus Wade law was passed, and so this was still very sensitive territory, and even nowadays I know this is a very sensitive topic, especially with what's going on in the Supreme Court today, about the fate of that law. Anyway, the commentary is not like, blunt and in your face and just forced in there to push an agenda. Look, I usually try to avoid political talk, but I believe this is more of a question of morality than anything. A woman has the right to her body. No one has the right to tell her what to do. And the circumstances for the pregnancy, whether, it's incest or rape, you got to think about that stuff too. And, I mean, if you really want her to carry out the pregnancy, well, you better step in line to adopt that child. Otherwise, you're a fucking hypocrite. Okay, so with that out of the way, Barbara Card, or just Barb, she's a drunk. Like in pretty much every scene she's either holding a drink, smoking a cigarette, and all that. She mouths off to like everyone in the sorority in their Christmas party on Christmas Eve, and she makes one of the girls named Claire cry, and and run up to her room. Claire was packing her stuff to travel to spend Christmas with her family, and she ends up being our first victim, and we get the most iconic image of the movie. Word then spreads that Claire did not show up for her father to pick her up to, take her to with family and stuff, and she's reported missing. Phyllis Carlson is the girl with the glasses, but not in a stereotypical way. I mean, like nerdy or whatever. She seems like a very close friend of Jess's, and they just seem to have like just a really close relationship, and there's a lot of tenderness, especially when a lot of the the sorority girls, they go missing, aka murdered, because it's a slasher. She's believes that one of her sorority sisters, Claire, is dead, and Jess is very comforting when Phyllis is crying in her arms. Barbara Machinery is like the sorority's sponsor or like the supervisor type thing, something like that. Well, like the other Barbara, she has a drinking problem. She's always finding these bottles of booze hidden all throughout the sorority house, and just taking a couple sips out of them. There's really not much more to her character than that, other than she's very lenient with the girls partying and drinking and getting involved in certain activities, I'm assuming. Lieutenant Kenneth Fuller, as I said, played by John Saxon, who in 10 years would star in another slasher, Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Fuller is the police lieutenant that's working the case of the missing sorority girls, receiving the obscene phone calls and wondering, seeing if there's a connection with another girl who was actually found murdered. Well, what else can I say? The original Black Christmas is a Christmas horror classic. It hits pretty much all the points that a horror movie needs. It's definitely one of the scariest slashers I've ever seen, and even though it is a slasher, there's a degree of subtlety so that they can keep the focus on the genuine creepiness. I give the original Black Christmas full sins. This has been the Sins Review. I'm Jackie Sins, wishing you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year.